Hi guys, I got a text message from a friend last night. This friend lives in New York and was home visiting his family in Texas. And apparently, just before his departure, there was some sort of incident or something with his family, and he sent me a text message and was pretty distraught. And there's issues with setting boundaries with his parents, and I didn't quite know what to say to him other than this is a lifelong thing, and I think all children, especially children who've moved away and go back, and particularly gay children, that there's that push-pull headbutt boundary issue when you go back home and visit the family. It's been over 10 years, and I still have that same sort of dance and negotiation with my family. My parents are very cool. I love them very much. We get along great, but there's certainly still sort of boundary issues, and it's taken me a while to set them. When I used to go back initially either from college or once I moved away, you fall into the same habits because the last time you were living in their house you were a child and there was a parent-child relationship, and when you go back and there's that same dynamic, you fall into the old habits because you just don't know anything else. You haven't done anything else for your entire life but be parent and child and have that sort of relationship. So once you're independent and growing and you accustomed to living your own life, you go back in their home and they're not used to seeing that. They still see you as a child, and you want to exert yourself or assert yourself as an independent person, but that old dynamic exists. So I think something that's very important is to recognize that relationship has changed, and to say right off, we're grown-ups now, and we're going to need to negotiate this. We talked about this at work today, actually, in a faculty meeting. Some of the senior faculty had said that they go through the same dance with their children, and they forget that, their children are in their 40s and 50s. You can't treat them like kids anymore. And one particular faculty member had spent a week with her son just recently, and he set some very definite boundaries and said, these are topics we're just not going to approach. So sometimes it's helpful on the offset just to say that. I don't really have a strong advice to give this friend. I don't know what he needs. And I don't really know what happened as it was a text message, but he is a YouTuber, so I felt that at least a video response might be appropriate. And I will offer what advice I have from my own personal experience. I recognize that the last time I lived in this house, I was 18, and I think we're in danger of reverting to some old behaviors. I'm not a child anymore, and you're going to have to remember not to treat me like one. In my time away, I've grown, and I've become who I am today, and I'd like you to get to know who that is. And I'd like to know who you've become too, so how are things with you? Okay, how about a little less nagging and a little more shut the hell up? I'm sorry, can I go into the living room now, or are you using it for the flying monkeys? Mom, I'll always be your baby, but we're not really mother and child anymore. I'm a grown-up, and there are going to be some things that we disagree on. Strongly. So to keep us both happy, there are going to be some topics that are just off limits. My weight, my career, and dear God, politics. And I won't ask you why you're hiding Oreos in the laundry room. Anything else? If I had thought this much eye makeup made me look cheap, I wouldn't have put it on. It really shouldn't bother you anymore. People everywhere are learning the truth more and more. Being gay is common, and more than that, it's a fact of nature. Coming out is an act of honesty, and that should be applauded. Besides, having a gay son is cool now. Soon everyone will be wanting one. Trendsetter. Or, if your parents are not your birth parents, you can call them early adopters. Talk about gay adoption. Seriously, Mother, if you're that bothered by your beauty parlor, it's time to embrace having a gay son. It's not like I don't know 20 fags who can't do a better job with your hair. Mother, I've grown into my own man, and along my voyage of self-discovery, I've developed my own sense of style. I grant you, fashion is contextual, but I and my personality are part of that context. Even attending the same event, what is appropriate attire for you and yours is not likely appropriate attire for me. My cultural distinctiveness is evident in how I present myself, and that's in the vocabulary of fashion as well as speech. Just as your look is yours, this look is mine. I am a fashionable young man living in San Francisco. You are a 60-year-old white woman living in Middle Tennessee. You may ask for fashion advice, but you may not give it. You know what? If you have an issue, that's an issue with your relationship with God. My relationship with God is just fine. Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. The rest is just theater. I respect your faith, and all that I ask is that you respect mine. Oh, please. Jesus was so gay, even his mother was Mary. You know, there's a voice in the wilderness crying, and it's crying out for me. I'm preparing my own way for God. The valley shall be exalted, and the lofty hills made low. You and me, we're just preparing different highways. Seriously? A single Jewish man in his 30s hanging around with the same dozen guys all the time? For heaven's sakes, the man invented Easter brunch. I'm surprised there isn't a parable about loaves and cantaloupe wedges. Come on, Dad. If you're having some conflicting feelings about homosexuality and religion, have a little faith. God is love. The rest of us are not here to add any criteria. I did not make the baby Jesus cry. Okay, I have never had to cross the bridge of bringing a significant other home or having to introduce a boyfriend. My parents have met many of my gay friends. There's one very close friend at home in particular they've gotten to know and I hope love. But I haven't had to deal with the come home for Christmas, come home for Thanksgiving thing. So I like to think it go well, but I know it'd be stressful all the way around. But here's what I can offer. Mom, Dad, I do love you. And I do love him. In all the ways that matter, he is my family. And I expect you to love him too. If not for the simple reason that he loves me too. I understand that this is not what you always imagined for me, but I do hope that you had always wanted me to be happy. And he makes me happy. It's okay to mourn the death of what you imagined, but it's important to celebrate the joy in what has happened instead. You've always wanted me to be happy. The only thing that is different is what makes me happy is something unexpected. It's not bad, not at all. It's just something else. And it's better than good. His comment is huge. I love him, and he completes me. He is my family. You may have given me a life, but he is what makes me alive. Don't make me choose between the two of you. I got you with the whole getting born thing. Him, I chose. Seriously, like a baby's arm holding an apple.